What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rainmaker Podcast, day number 6. So we're just getting started with this, and I appreciate you being here. Help us grow this group by hitting that subscribe button down below, hit that like button, and share this with your friends. So today we're going to talk about disruption in the real estate industry and what this means to you and your future as a real estate agent. So by the way, I'm John Dietz, speaker, trainer, coach with John Dietz Coaching and business builder with eXp Realty. Thank you again for joining my Rainmaker podcast, and let's get started. So, I'm going to start out by having a conversation with you about smartphones. All right. Now, I want you to think back 20 years ago, maybe it was 25 years ago, before the first smartphone was introduced. You could choose from 20 different smartphones or 20 different phones. Remember BlackBerries, PalmPilots, Razors, and all the Razor phone and all the other different options that you had. And then Apple came along and introduced the smartphone, and you have all these apps that enable you to do pretty much everything from your phone. You can run your life from this thing. And when Apple first did that, it wasn't a huge success. If you go back and you study this, true, people stood in line for days to buy Apple phones, but when they first got them, they didn't like them. There was a lot of glitches and they wanted to return them. However, within a very short period of time, we saw major disruption in the cell phone industry. And the end result of that was you have two major players pretty much. You have the iPhone and you have the Android. And all of those other companies have gone away. BlackBerry, for example, went from 80% market share to 6% market share in just 1 year. So, an example of what happens when you have disruption in an industry. So, let's talk about the retail space. If you look at a typical retail store, let's go with Sears. For all of you who are old enough to remember Sears, you've got the company, and you have distribution, you've got to ship products to stores. Then you have bricks and mortar, you have stores, huge expense. And then, of course, you have employees. And again, that's a huge expense. And then down here, you guys, it's you, the customers. You go to Sears, you get out of your car, you walk through the store, you look for what you're buying, you go to the cashier, you buy it, you get back in your car, you drive home. That's a pipeline. And that's pretty much how the country operated for the last 75 plus years. Then Amazon came along and caused major disruption by eliminating all of these things and by putting customers up here in a direct partnership with the company in a 50-50 relationship where you no longer have to get in your car. You no longer have to drive to the store, look for a parking space, go inside, look for what you want to buy it, and then go back out to your car and drive home. Now you can sit at home and you can order whatever it is you want to buy and have it delivered to the front door the next day. What was the result? Well, you saw a lot of major retailers in the country go out of business. Now, it wasn't Amazon's intention to put people out of business, but that was the end result. I'll use another example. So everybody remembers Blockbuster. If you're like me, you remember going there, getting out of your car, walking in, looking for that movie, and hopefully they have it. You rent it, you take it home, maybe grab some popcorn on the way, go home, watch the movie, and hopefully remember to return it on time so you don't have to pay a late fee or end up buying it. So we're seeing the same thing happen in the real estate space. For all of you, my real estate friends out there, which is pretty much everybody that's watching this podcast, I want you to look at we'll call it a traditional, although you could also call it antiquated and outdated franchise broker model in real estate. So you have the brokerage, we'll use Keller Williams as an example. They're the largest, so we might as well use them. And then you have regional franchise owners. So these are the owners of the different regions across the United States that Keller Williams International sold those regions to. And you've got maybe 100 regional franchise owners across the country. These regional franchise owners, then they would sell local franchises to the franchise owner, or in the KW world, they're called OPs. And then that franchise owners has huge expenses. Again, two biggest being rent and staff. And then you put real estate agents down here at the bottom. Don't even know if it showed up on my screen. Yeah, it did. There it is. And this is a top-down model that if you've been in real estate for more than 20 years, you've probably been in this model, because at one point, it's the only model that existed until 2009. In 2009, Glenn Sanford came along and said, I think there's a better way. And he created EXP. Now, EXP eliminates franchise owners. They eliminate local franchise owners, bricks and mortar, and staff. And more importantly, they bring that real estate up here, not under the brokerage, but next to the brokerage in a 50-50 partnership. So let me explain what I mean by 50-50. First of all, 67% of the EXP stock is owned by EXP real estate agents. There's no other real estate company in the world that can say that. That's a big deal. Secondly, the company is operated on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. That means the amount of money that's going to go to EXP maxes out at $16,000 a year. There's no franchise caps because it's not a franchise. And EXP doesn't have all of the expenses that you have over here in the traditional or antiquated model. So what does EXP do with the money they're saving from that? Well, they build relationships with real estate agents like you and I. Basically, they came to me, and they'll go to you and say the same thing. John, if you'll build your real estate business on our platform, we'll take 50% of every dollar that comes into the company, not profit, but revenue. We'll take 50% of every dollar that comes into the company, and we'll split it with you. 50% to EXP, that's how they pay their bills. What's left over is profit. And 50% to real estate agents like me, who are building a real estate business on the EXP platform, generating a massive opportunity for six-figure plus net income as a business owner. And as a matter of fact, we have several EXP business builders that are making several $1 million a year doing this. All right, so $8,000 is going to go to EXP. That's how they pay their bills. What's left over is profit. And then the other $8,000 comes back to real estate agents like you and I in the form of revenue share. And the way revenue share works is, as you're building your business, you have agents that you're adding directly to your first level. Those agents that you add to the first level have a maximum return of $1,400 a year back to you, based on capping. And then those agents are also growing a revenue share organization. And anybody that comes to the company through them, that person is in your level 2 now. And you have a maximum return of $1,600 for a capping agent at level 2. If you add up all 7 levels, it comes to this $8,000 number right here. It's actually pretty magical the way it works. Okay, here's the bottom line, and then I'll wrap it up. This is disruption, right? 100% this is disruption. If you look at the real estate industry in the last 5 years, there's been dozens and dozens of platform model real estate businesses that have come into the business, and some at a very large level, like EXP and Real Broker, who's also doing well. And read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Okay. The writing is on the wall. This model's going away. It's just a math equation, guys. When you look at the math, it's no longer profitable to run a franchise model real estate business. It's just not. And you look at the biggest movers and shakers in the last 5 years in the real estate industry, they're all platform companies. I mean, when's the last time you went on Inman News or Housing Wire and read an article about the explosive growth of a pipeline model, brick and mortar model real estate company? You haven't, but you've read lots of articles on platform real estate businesses, on businesses built on revenue shares, because it's the future of real estate. Just is. Now, I own Deets and Deets Real Estate Consultants powered by eXp Realty. I'm also a trainer and coach with John Deets Coaching. If you would like to talk with me, and if you're a real estate agent who's looking for more opportunity, if you're a real estate agent who'd like to have ownership in the business, if you're a real estate agent who would like to create a path to financial freedom so that one day you could stop renting space, trading time for money as a real estate technician, my contact information is below. Hit me up. There's a calendar link down there. Jump on that calendar link and schedule an appointment to meet with me. It's a 30-minute confidential meeting between just you and I. It's not a sales pitch. I'm not going to try to close you. I simply want to give you an opportunity to experience what this relationship could do for you, to experience what it's like to be in business with me. And if you choose to move forward, we'll talk about that. And if not, the only thing you stand to lose is 30 minutes. By the way, I'm a pretty good coach. I promise you, I'll give you some ideas that'll help you close more deals, make more money. So it's going to be a good use of your time either way. All right, everybody, I'm John Deets, speaker, trainer, coach with John Deets Coaching, business builder with eXp Realty. And that's another episode of Rainmaker Podcast. Make it a great day.